He's an NBA champion, New Orleans Pelicans TV analyst, Fox Sports Radio NBA analyst. We welcome in our man, Antonio Daniels. What's up, brother?
How you?
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing today?
Doing good.
We're great, man. Let's get into it. Did the voters, I'm one of the voters. I voted for Embiid myself. Did we get it right? You think Embiid was the MVP? Should have been.
Yes. Yes, he was my MVP as well. But this is one of those situations where if Jokic would have won, I wouldn't think they got it wrong either. Like, I think, I felt like you could have gone either way and either one would have been correct. But Joel Embiid was my MVP as well.
Yeah, the numbers were really close when you look at them. And I was just surprised, Antonio, of the difference in first place votes on how big it was. Maybe voter fatigue or people
73 to 15.
Yeah, that's 73 to 15 with the numbers being as close. What do you make of that? Is that voters fatigue, you think?
Probably. You know, anytime that we had a guest on our show and asked them about it, a lot of times their explanation as to why was because Joel Embiid hadn't won one yet. You know, because Jokic had been back-to-back MVP. So, I mean, as much as we would love to say voter fatigue isn't a real thing, I think we all know voter fatigue is the real thing because people are human. You know, there are some people who thought Joel Embiid was the MVP last year and he didn't win. So if you were one of those voters, then were you really going to vote for Jokic again this year when it was that close?
Right.
So I think there's a human element involved in this as well.
Let me ask you here, Chris. Let me on the Suns and Chris Paul. I mean, how surprised are you? Chris and I talked about this earlier. How many minutes these guys were playing? I know they're thin on the bench, and so they were playing these guys a lot of minutes. But what do you make of the Chris Paul injury? It looks like they're going to be without him at least a week or so, at least according to the Athletic.
Games 3, 4, and 5. He's
right.
Out.
He's out.
Here's my thing. We spend all year low managing guys so they can be healthy in the postseason.
Thank you.
Kawhi, out. Paul George, out. Tyler Hero, out. Giannis was out. Jimmy Butler misses tonight. Julius Randle misses. Chris Paul's out. So, I mean, completely different conversation. But with Chris Paul, I think this is, as of recent memory, this is part of the course in itself.
Right.
You know, you can go back and think of the year where, you know, they were 48 minutes away from the NBA Finals, and lo and behold, his hamstring.
Yep.
You know, and then, you know, last year, and then there's another year. So this time of the year, for some reason, Chris Paul's body does not want to agree with him. I don't know the reason and rationale behind it, but it's tough to look at the Phoenix Suns and talk about them defeating the Denver Nuggets without taking Chris Paul's injury history into consideration.
And Antonio, watching them, and I got to be honest, I thought this was largely the case even when Chris was there, but especially last night after Chris got hurt. Their offense looks like KD, your turn. Dylan, your turn. Am I wrong?
Okay.
It reminds me of what Brooklyn did last year against Boston, and you can't do that against good defensive teams.
That's the same exact comparison that I made on our show. It looks just like the Brooklyn Nets last year that got swept by the Boston Celtics. But the difference is, as opposed to it being KD and Kyrie, now it's KD and Book.
Right.
Because when KD has the ball, Book is in the corner. When Book has the ball, KD's in the corner. There's no fluidity and chemistry to their offense. They won the first round versus the Clippers. They beat the Clippers on pure talent because they had Kevin Durant and because they had Devin Booker. I have said numerous times, I would have loved to have seen what that series looked like with a healthy Paul George and a healthy Kawhi.
I totally agree.
We may be having a different conversation.
I think the Clippers
we may
beat
be
them.
having a different conversation. And here's the thing. This one was weird to me. So we're so concerned with being healthy coming into the playoffs, it's almost like the Phoenix Suns completely disregarded the fact that they had only been together about 6 games, and they set everybody out the final 3 games of the season. Right. You can't expedite chemistry. You can't. The only way you can't simulate chemistry. The only way to get it is to actually get it. go through it. And what you're seeing right now is one team that has played together all year long. It's almost like they can read each other like the back of their hand in the Denver Nuggets. And another team that every shot they shoot is contested and tough. It seems like every shot that Devin Booker or Kevin Durant has to shoot and make is a very, very, very tough shot. But you look at the difference in the quality looks that the Denver Nuggets are getting. You cannot expedite chemistry.
You're absolutely right. Now, let me ask you this, though. And I don't know if it's the offense. I think Monty Williams is a great coach. But, I mean, I get the chemistry is going to take time to develop. But couldn't they put in more of a different offense or something to help them out where they're not just having to create everything? You know what I'm saying?
But you like, Chris, that's
like over the last, say, 2 months that Durant's been there or whatever.
That's hard to do because I think what you're assuming is like, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, coaching talent is hard. Coaching talent is hard.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just completely go away from everything that you've been doing throughout the course of this season. What you spent training camp on, what you spent practices on, what you spent 2-a-days on earlier in the season, just to right now go away from that and change it. I feel like there are certain things that they can do and certain people that they can highlight maybe that have been there. I'm a firm believer they don't give DeAndre Ayton enough attention.
I agree.
Firmly believe that. Because right now, he doesn't even look like he belongs on the court with Jokic. And don't forget, DeAndre Ayton is a number 1 overall pick. But you would never guess that watching him with the Phoenix Suns. But when a guy goes down, like he did last year versus the playoffs when Devin Booker was out, and they actually played through him, he looked like the number 1 overall pick.
Right.
So you look at some of these other guys, you look at the Trae Youngs, and you look at the Lucas, and some of these other guys, they're the face of their franchise. Everything goes through them. And you look at DeAndre Ayton, he's not Batman, he's not Robin, he's not Alfred, he's the next superhero in line, and he's the number 1 overall pick.
He's Commissioner Gordon.
Right,
He's
I was going to
way
say Commissioner Gordon. I was going to say what was the Mrs. Cooper? You know what I mean?
Keep going.
I know, my God. Tonight, the Lakers and the Warriors. Just give me your gut on this. I've heard everything from
the series.
From it's over in 5. You know what I mean? To 7. To the Lakers winning, to the Warriors making quick work of them. Where are you on this series?
I have gone back and forth with this numerous times, and I am so uncomfortable with my pick. But I wouldn't be comfortable if I went the other way either. I don't think there's any way of knowing. For me, I picked the Lakers in 7.
Wow.
And the reason that I picked the Lakers in 7 is because I feel like the Los Angeles Lakers don't need LeBron James to be brilliant to win. The Golden State Warriors need Steph Curry to be brilliant to win. What we saw LeBron James do in the first round at 38 years old was acquiesce to some of the younger players.
Right.
Allow those guys to get going. Now he trusts Austin Reeves. They have a great rapport with each other. He trusts D'Angelo Russell. He trusts the moves that were made after the deadline. Right? I trust their other guys. I'm not saying I don't trust Golden State's other guys. But the difference is LeBron does not have to be LeBron. He doesn't have to be the 35-point, 15-rebound, 9-assist guy that he's had to be in the past to beat the Golden State Warriors.
Wow.
Steph Curry has to be brilliant to defeat the Los Angeles Lakers, though.
I don't know. That's interesting that's how you lay it out from the standpoint of LeBron not having to play that well for them to beat the Warriors.
No, not having to play that well. Now, there's a difference between not having to, because he played well against Memphis.
Right.
He played well against
He don't
Memphis.
have to go.
Right, but Memphis also had 2 of the worst shooting games you might have ever could have watched in a postseason.
Okay.
In that, I'm just saying.
So let me combat that.
Okay.
Let me combat that with the fact that the Golden State Warriors went 7 games with a Sacramento Kings team whose 60% of their starting lineup didn't show up.
No,
So
I hear you.
It kind of goes both ways.
I got Warriors in 6. I wouldn't be surprised 7, but I do think this is a lot closer. I feel you. I won't be shocked if the Lakers win because I think it's a lot closer than some people. Some people are saying, the Warriors are going to destroy. I'd be surprised. I'd be more surprised if the Warriors walked through them in like 5 games
Me too.
than I would if the Lakers won, in 7 or something.
As would I. Well, I would be surprised if anybody walked through anybody in this particular series.
I agree. That's our man, Antonio Daniels. Great stuff, brother. Thank you.